I honestly still have not seen like a close up of it because I refuse to watch it.
Like the actual video.
Yeah, I mean I've seen like a far away shot where his body kind of falls back, but I know there's other angles that I purposely you know don't want to watch it.
I saw it, not knowing what it was. Yeah, it was bad.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
Traumatizing. Yeah. That was kind of my thing too. Like, I'm always on X, and I just so happened to be talking to my daughter, and she was actually telling me a good story from school. One of her friends and her connected over like them realizing that they believe the same things or whatever. And as she's telling me that, I'm on X, and we're both looking like, what? Charlie Kirk shot. And I click on the video. It was the zoomed out one, but then the first comment under it was the zoomed in angle. And like when we saw it, we both were like, oh my God, I like almost closed the laptop because it just was so horrifying to see. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. And like it looked like it was AI to me. Like we were hoping that someone was playing a sick joke. Like they found out like that it happened and it wasn't that bad, but someone were making AI videos trying to make it worse, to get clicks. But yeah, once we found out, like, man, it was just like, put the word out there. Everybody was trying to pray for him and his family and hoping for the best. I think a lot of people were scared to say what they saw in that video because, I mean, when you see the video, you're kind of like, it looked like there was no chance, but I feel like people didn't want to say that. They don't want to speak that into existence. So it was like, we got to believe and pray. But unfortunately, it was what we saw. And it was just heavy for the next, like we had rehearsal that day and like the whole time was just heavy. It was hard to kind of really get in the groove with everything. And even for like the rest of the week. And I'm not like most of the people that I talked to, a lot of people that like really didn't even follow Charlie Kirk, like people that didn't really even know what he stood for, but just seeing that and knowing what it meant for us as a nation and knowing what it meant like spiritually, even like what that kind of brought out and what that meant. If a lot of people were feeling like, wow, this hit them harder than they expected. You know what I mean? And I've heard even guys on my soccer team were like talking about that. Like, I've seen people get shot before. I've seen, political people but this one feels different. Yeah. Something about it feels different. And I think it was the people knowing how just dark it kind of gets when someone who is just willing to kind of engage in conversation isn't out there, trying to be too divisive. Says controversial stuff, but not like one of the worst that we've seen. And then that's the person that.
But they make his. Sorry to cut you off, but they'll cut what he says. Same kind of like what Trump says. I feel like Trump is worse. But
Trump gives them way more material.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they take what he says and just take a sentence, and it can look like it's totally. Okay, this dude is a racist.
Yeah.
But if you don't watch what he really says, the whole context of it, that's what I've been having conversations with some people that we know. You can't just, did he really say this? Man, he's a racist. I'm like, yo, just if you care, if you're this is what I told this person, right? And y'all know him. If you're willing to make a, feel some way about somebody and you don't want to do the because he kind of made light of it, like I don't want to spend the time to do that. Well, you don't deserve an opinion, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you can't have a strong opinion about something if you're not willing to go and dig into it.
Yeah, well, let's call it what it is. It's judgment. So like,
yeah,
if you're gonna judge anything, then you should be responsible with how you judge things.
Right.
And you can't go into something because you heard something about somebody.
Yeah.
Well, in a court of law, a judge can't come down with the final judgment until they've heard all the evidence, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people want to just get their little talking points and then say, okay, got it, that's it. And a lot of times, and that was one of the hardest parts, was just seeing all of the celebrating and negativity, like
so dark.
And I like we said, we're not going to show any of that tonight. I don't even want to bring that. I don't even want to shed light on that. But just seeing the celebration from a lot of people and people just regurgitating the same 4 little quotes that they got from somebody's comment section or a meme or just a picture with quotes on it that they told none of these people know Charlie Kirk or have watched any of his content, but they've made up their minds about what he said and what he believed in, and have, now celebrated a man's death based off of something that they saw from someone else quoting from a comment, and not ever knowing anything really, and that's the part that
They
was
created a
sad.
character in their head of who he was.
Yeah, and it's easy to do that because he's a conservative. He was a Trump supporter. He was one of the main reasons why Trump got a lot of the younger votes. You've already made up your mind that Trump is a racist, he's a white supremacist, he's a fascist, he's a Nazi, especially because they've been saying it all election cycle. They called his rallies Nazi rallies when he was at Madison Square Garden and all those people showed up. It was a Nazi rally. We played it on here. They showed the footage of when Hitler came to the Madison Square Garden, and they constantly are calling someone a Nazi and Hitler
And fascist.
and fascist, and then you connect someone like Charlie Kirk to that without ever really knowing like what he stood for and what he was out there preaching and what he was trying to do by going to these college campuses. And it's easy to just be like, oh, well, he supported Trump, so he's got to be a white supremacist too. And then you find these little out of context quotes that people took, and they can say, well, that stamps it, that justifies it, that proves it right
You don't
there.
like black pilots.
Yeah. Yeah, he don't like black pilots. He wished the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. And what was the other ones?
The black women thing.
Black women don't have the brain capacity. What was the other one that they kept
He
quoting?
didn't like gays. I saw that.
No, it was if you have empathy, you're weak. And the other one was a little bit of gun deaths are needed to justify the Second Amendment or to solidify the Second Amendment. All those things, some of those things he never even said, and then a lot of the ones that
they twisted.
Yeah, they twisted them and took them completely out of context.
Yeah, when I saw it, I knew. I mean, of course, my heart sank because his family was in the audience, his wife and his kids, and stuff like that. And not just them. I mean, they're the most important people that are going to be affected the most. But imagine being right there, front row, and you witness this, because there's no way anybody would survive that.
Yeah,
Like that. I mean, we're hopeful and we're praying for that, but that's a precision kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
yeah,
And to watch that on X shows how comfortable we have become with, if I don't agree with you,
yeah,
you deserve death.
yeah.
And you deserve to die. Not just die, but horrific.
In front of thousands of people and your family.
Right. And, we were sharing it and stuff like that. And at first I didn't want to watch it. But I think in watching it, it reaffirmed how far we've fallen as human beings, where just the idea of a conversation enrages you to you are celebrating a violent assassination.
Yeah.
Like, to get to that point where you're in a space where and by the way, whether it's, we know the media pushing an agenda or indoctrination or whatever it is, but when you've allowed yourself to get to a place where dialogue, because he didn't kill anybody. I may not agree with the delivery of certain things, or I would have said it different, but I don't know the context in which how he was trying to draw people's attention.
Yeah.
What I admired about him is that he was brave enough to do something, because listen, you have a young family. You have to understand the risk of putting yourself out there. And he would bring his wife and kids with him.
Yeah.
And to have these conversations is difficult. We all know that we've gotten braver over the years because we started doing this, but having these conversations, we were in a generation where we were taught, do not have these conversations, including friends. Having a conversation about politics, race, religion were off limits in our time. Charlie is what, 15 years younger than us? To see him being able to go out in public, sit down, have a conversation, because he would openly say, listen, I didn't go to college, but he was a well-learned man. He was obviously, I can't remember the terminology for someone who's self-taught, but he was very self-taught. He reminded me a lot of Malcolm X in terms of his delivery.
Right.
Where Malcolm X was self-taught in prison, but Malcolm X had a delivery that drew your attention.
Yeah.
He drew people's attention, whether positive or negative. But one thing he was willing to do was he was willing to have a conversation, even if the person, because a lot of the times what people miss is he was polite, and people would lead in with insult.
Yeah.
They wanted to insult him. He would say, "Come on," and he would never fire back at them. So he was well.
A lot of times he would take it tongue in cheek, and he would make fun of himself.
That and And watching him over the years, or like I said, not that I watch a lot of his videos, but watching him specifically, him and Candace Owen, people don't know this, but he commanded a $95 million empire that he was in charge of.
He started from nothing,
from scratch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He started when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So he was an impressive human being to begin with. To accomplish that feat in today's time, is impressive. And he was knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He was an articulate, knowledgeable guy. He wasn't, he like I said, delivery here and here, give or take, you know what I mean? But I understand that in this field, sometimes you're going to have to say things to get people's attention, to draw their attention to certain things, and you can explain how you feel. But I've never seen in all of his debates that I watched, everyone came to challenge him.
Yeah.
But it was regurgitated, nonsensical, racist, homophobic talking points, never getting to the root of what he said. Challenge him on that, right? That's what he was trying to encourage. And for a short time, there was hope because he was changing a lot of youth. Because like I said, we live in a country where silence and complicit allegiance, because people are afraid to step out of their friend group.
Yeah.
They're afraid to step out of their political regime, their family. A lot of people are very afraid, including us at one time before we started to have this conversation. People are afraid to step out of their comfort zone because they don't want to be excommunicated or labeled.
Right.
And he was able to show young people, no, you don't have to be afraid of this. You have to be knowledgeable. Don't just get into a back and forth for the sake of that.
Yeah.
Have a point, have an understanding. Because people would ask him, people would go up. Not every conversation was contentious. I know that's what people like to see. But people would say, hey, Charlie, how do I get married? How do I do this? A lot of that was missed.
Yep.
They
don't go viral.
They don't go viral.
Yeah. That's the thing. And I think when you watch a lot of that content, that's what his main message was.
That's what his main message was.
His main message was get married, start a family, follow Jesus. Like that was his main message. That this is what's going to help our society. And it was resonating with a lot of young people. I mean, I just saw an article today about how Gen Z and Gen Alpha are becoming the most Christian generation.
What's that podcast? You made a comparison to it. We Woke Now or something. It's the white guy who does like the Myron Gaines kind of fish and fish thing.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Do you know that he was one of the only, he went on to talk to a bunch of young women who were in the sex industry. There was the only time that they were having dialogue that it wasn't combative.
Because he wasn't disrespecting them. He was reaching them, like, and they a lot of them said, like, you're the first person to come on here and talk to us where we could actually listen.
Those moments don't go viral, though.
Yeah, they don't.
So
that's the thing. He played the long game.
Yeah,
he didn't play the gotcha game, and you've seen that with what he talked about. I mean, when you look at this guy did hundreds of colleges, thousands of conversations. You're not going to say everything perfect, first of all. Like, come on, let's be real. How many people are having that many conversations?
Oh, we got to cut this out.
Yeah.
What are we looking for?
Right.
But he was a blessing to so many. I came across so many videos of people who like met him one-on-one and he helped them in some way. Like, man, it's amazing the impact he had on so many people and just what's going on now. Like, how many people are going to church?
Yeah.
Doing, getting a Bible.
Yeah.
Like people who
I got a bunch
don't
of
believe
videos
in
of
God.
that stuff.
Like it blows my. That's all I see.
That's what we're celebrating here.
Yeah.
Like that's
beautiful. He lost his life, but there's victory here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The effect of that is going to resonate much further. I was watching, Tim Pool after this all happened. He was talking about Charlie and how much Charlie helped them when he didn't have to, and how much stuff he would bend over backwards to help them out, and like he built them a studio before, and made sure he was the last one there to help them get set up, even when all his staff went home. And one of the guys that was there was talking about how Charlie always wanted to serve. He wanted to. He was one of the type of people that wanted to win people over by serving, even though he had created this huge empire and he was this leader. He was a servant.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about like he wanted to mirror Christ.
Yeah. And he didn't want to take credit for it. I didn't even know. You guys familiar with Patrick Wooden?
No.
He's a black pastor, older black pastor. He comes out against the left a lot, and he speaks out against.
I know who you're
Bishop
talking
Wooden.
about. Yeah, Bishop. Yeah.
I didn't know this. He gave a little bit of a eulogy on his church on Sunday, and his son and daughter-in-law were members of a branch in Philadelphia for young black conservatives.
Wow.
And there was like 400 people there.
Yeah.
In that branch.
Yeah.
That he was, and he was like, I'm not your boss. I'm not this. This is for you guys
Right.
to take this and grow this thing. Now he wasn't running around telling everybody that, but he's like, I'm not telling you what I suspect. I'm telling you what I know.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and he didn't run around saying, look at me, I'm doing this. And so he did a beautiful eulogy about what he was doing behind the scenes. I think that's what people are missing, because you're watching what sells people visually, which is the contentious back and forth, and he said this, and but there was a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes where he was transforming people's lives by saying, hey, listen, here's a path to success, and I'm gonna explain why. You know, I think that's what a lot of people miss, because unfortunately we live in a time where that's what sells, the back and forth, and I'm gonna, like some old guys up there, I want to step out here, I want to fight you.
Right.
That's what.
Well, because also when you think about the Charlie Kirk came up like right after and kind of during the Steven Crowder, Change My Mind, the Ben Shapiro, the
Yes.
Milo Yiannopoulos,
Yes.
that whole era of like Ben Shapiro owns leftists,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Destroys, and
Yeah.
those clips would go viral. So people associate him with that ilk,
Yeah.
with the Ben Shapiros, the Milo
The combative,
Yiannopoulos,
yeah.
those
Crowder.
Crowder,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and even though he was doing something different, but I saw a meme that kind of like broke my heart a little bit, but I know it's not reality. Where because I don't know if you saw like the banner over the tent always says "Prove me wrong," like he's giving you an opportunity, come up, prove me wrong. And someone said like Charlie didn't factor in that the left's version of proving you wrong is just stopping you from talking. Like they don't even want to have the conversation.
Yeah, that's why they say stuff like your words are genocide.
Yeah,
You know,
because then it justifies retaliation
Yeah.
through violence.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what
Stopping you from talking.
Yeah, they're literally taking it to another level, because that's what pride does. It takes it to another level. Like, you got to think a way out of this.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy to a regular person, but it's not to them, because you've processed through all this stuff, you know, to get to where you are, to hold on to what you believe or what you.
And that's why you see people, you know, trying to come up with these versions of him that justify what happened. That's why you see the news media and Democrats trying to, you know, do these mental gymnastics to turn it into it's actually the right that's the problem. You know, like the left is not violent. It's the right that's violent. And the left, you know, the media, that one guy got fired right away because he was saying basically Charlie brought this on himself because of his rhetoric. And it's just, people that aren't falling for this anymore. You can look online and see who's celebrating. That tells you who wanted him dead.